Welcome to our course, Meet Me in Microsoft Teams. My name is Sarah, a training specialist here at Microsoft, and today we'll be exploring how to capture the end-to-end meeting lifecycle, the before, during, and after, all within Teams. After today's session, you'll be able to schedule and manage a Teams meeting experience from end to end. We will explore a variety of tools that you can use during the meeting, and you will also discover how to access your meetings and content. So let's get started. I'm logged in as Adele, my alter ego here, and we're looking at the calendar. The calendar is how you can schedule meetings in Microsoft Teams. The Microsoft Teams calendar is synced up with Outlook, so you can use either tool, and you're sending out invites to the people, and these could be people inside your network or outside your network. And even if they don't have Teams, they'll be able to join the meeting that you're hosting. They'll be given a link that allows them to access a free version. They can either download on their computer or on their mobile device, or if they don't want to download, they can simply use the browser. It's supported by multiple major browsers as well. So let's start scheduling a meeting. We'll begin with Outlook. Jump in here. And when you're scheduling a meeting through Outlook, you're using the Teams meeting add-in. So you just click that button and voila, that's how easy it is. Automatically, you're going to see some information. This is the join information, this purple link that allows people to connect. If they already have Teams, it'll prompt them to open up the meeting in their Teams. If they don't have Teams, it'll prompt them to access a free version so that they can join the meeting that you're hosting. You might also notice some dial-in information. I'll show you that in a moment. That will give people the ability to dial in using their phone as a way to get audio to the meeting. Otherwise, everything else that you would normally do in Outlook is exactly the same. So if you're using Outlook to use a scheduling assistant, that tool is still available. If you're using distribution lists, you can still do that in here at Outlook. Maybe you are setting up a recurring meeting series once a week, once a quarter. Maybe you're using reminders or labels. Maybe you are scheduling a room, conference room C, for example. We're going to book that room. Those features are still available. If you're using delegate access where you're scheduling on behalf of someone, you can still do that through Outlook as well. Now, the other option is that you can schedule right here in Teams. In fact, we'll do that. We'll just click on an item here. And I'm going to schedule a community event brainstorming session. How about that? And that's a lot of typing. And then I can invite some people. So I might want to invite Alex and Pradeep. And maybe I want to invite someone outside of my network. I have a colleague, a guest called Irvin. And I'm just going to copy and paste that person's email address in. And that's how you can bring in people outside of your network. And then this could be a recurring meeting. Maybe we're going to meet on a regular basis, weekly, monthly. You can even set up custom options. Maybe this recurs twice a week or every other week. So you can set those options as well. I just want to put a quick shout out to channel-based meetings. We'll come back and explore this in our session. But if you're working on a team and channel, maybe a project team or a operational team, then you can set up those meetings, those project meetings, for example, or those departmental meetings that can be hooked in and added right into your teams and channels. So to be continued. Location. This is the same idea of a room finder. So you can access those rooms, conference room C, for example, right here from Teams. You also have the scheduling assistant. It's the exact same tool that Outlook uses. They're both based on Exchange data. And it's going to be able to look at the schedules of people inside your network, not guests. And we'll just click on details to jump back right in. And I'll go ahead and send out this invite. And again, we just sent out that invite. And here we are. Let's take a closer look at that. We'll go ahead and edit this. And we saw, hey, look, there's the link that lets people join. And then this particular account also has a dial-in. Your organization might be using a conferencing plan, and on the back end, your IT admin can hook that up to Teams. And with that's hooked up, then whether you schedule in Outlook or in Teams, it's going to automatically give you the information that you need. It does allow people to connect via the audio of their phone. If you don't have this feature, though, it's still fine. You're still able to connect computer to computer. We call that VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, and that's another way that people can engage. Now, something else that's really important is that as a team organizer, right, the meeting organizer, that's the person who creates the event, whether you're using Outlook or you're using Microsoft Teams, you now could go in and make some changes. If you want to cancel the meeting, update the meeting times, the recurring frequency, you also have, this is really important, access to meeting options. So we'll click on this. I want to highlight a few things in here. So one of the items is who can bypass the lobby. Now, by default, only the people in my organization. That's a security measure. You can change this. So we've invited a guest. We invited Irvin, and we may want to change this so that everyone can bypass the lobby, add some convenience. Hey, Irvin, come on in, let yourself in. I've also seen that in some scenarios, for example, a education world, a school or a university, that the IT admin has created certain policies. So there may be policies like teacher, facilitator versus learner, a student. And so who can bypass the lobby? It would be the teachers. That you want to reach out to your internal support to find out where the best practices within your organization for these options. But by default, it's people in my organization. Who can present? By default, everyone. Presenters are the people who can share their screen. So this means that even our guest, Irvin, he could share his screen or his PowerPoint and contribute that way. You can change this. So you might notice some options like specific people or only me. And if you have fewer presenters, you might even want to turn on this hard mute feature. So allow attendees to unmute. Sure. If you choose no, what you're really doing is saying hard mute. You're saying that they cannot unmute themselves unless a presenter allows them to. I'm actually going to close without saving these, but these are some options, some meeting options that you can access as the organizer. Let's go ahead and close this. So when you're creating an event, you can create the event through Teams or through Outlook. Which one should you use? Is there one that's better? It's really a matter of preference. So if you have a preference, use that one. And I will say there are a couple of exceptions to that rule. If you're using delegate access, that's a Outlook feature. You're going to want to schedule through Outlook in order to schedule on behalf of someone. Another Outlook feature would be distribution lists. So if you're using distribution lists or aliases, that's an Outlook feature. You're going to use Outlook. But if you're using Teams and channels and you want to create a channel-based meeting, that is a team feature. You're going to want to make sure you use Teams and channels. If you're using the Meet Now option or the live event option, you're going to want to use Teams and channels. Otherwise, it's your choice of what you want to do. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to join this meeting. And when you join, you can set your devices. So you may want to come in with your mic on or muted, same with your camera, your video on or muted. You can even switch devices on the fly. So maybe you're switching from a headset to a speaker room, for example. Or maybe you're dialing in, you're using your phone. Let's go ahead and jump in. When you join the meeting, you'll have some tools to help you navigate, manage, participate. I see these tools here in the bottom left. You might also see them at the top right-hand corner here. You can, again, change your device options. So you might be muting or unmuting yourself throughout a meeting. That's often the case. You might even want to use these ellipses, the 3 dots right here in the middle. That opens up more options. This is where you could change your device settings on the fly. If you're using a video, this is also more options where you would see options to blur your video, for example, or change your video background. And as more people start entering the meeting and you have more people, this is where you can change the video mode. Large gallery, which is up to 49, to the together mode where you can see an audience view. You can pin speakers, so you'll have more audio options. This ellipsis just gives you more choices. Let's check out the sharing tray. So the box with the arrow, this is going to expand or collapse the sharing tray. And you can share your screen, your desktop or Windows. You can share a PowerPoint presentation, or you can share a whiteboard. When you're sharing your screen, you actually get to pick whichever screen is opened, or if you have some applications that are opened, you can focus on them. I really like this idea of being able to share my screen. That's actually how I do a lot of my presentations, because then I can share multiple apps. I could share a PowerPoint presentation. I can share a browser that I'm using for demoing, for example. And then if you have more than one screen, then off stage, you can set up your notes and your other elements that you're using for helping you present. Now, PowerPoint is a special feature because PowerPoint is part of this presentation mode. So if you share it through PowerPoint, it's only going to share the PowerPoint, nothing more. And it's going to give you some tools to help present. You're going to see a list of PowerPoint presentations that are current or recent. And then you can also browse. If you don't see it in your item, you can browse and access that. I'm just going to bring in a PowerPoint presentation that I like here. Give it a moment to load. And we have some options to help us. So one of the options is that, hey, it's easier for us to move forward in the presentation. There's also this eyeball. It's kind of creepy. We'll click on the eyeball and you'll see a blue bar that pops up. I'm going to click on that one more time. By default, private viewing is enabled. This allows participants to move through your shared presentation on their own. So let's say that Irvin wants to go back to a previous slide, maybe take a screenshot or take some notes. Or maybe Alex is my co-presenter. He wants to move forward and he wants to check out what's the next slide, because that's where I start speaking, right? And then there's another feature, you don't see it right now, but Alex as a co-presenter, he actually will have an option to take control and he can take over, right? Hey, Alex, take it away. And he can start presenting. And even this could go back and forth. Adele could take back control and start presenting as well. We'll do that. And then there was one other element. There's the whiteboarding. And there's really two whiteboard options. The Microsoft Whiteboard is part of your Microsoft 365 package. And then Freehand by Envision is a partner app. So we'll start with a whiteboard for Microsoft. So imagine in a conference room, physical world, you would have a whiteboard. This is the virtual equivalent of that experience. Let's give it here a second. Sometimes it takes a moment for it to load. Let's try that one more time. We'll just try that one more time. See if there it goes. Okay. So when you have this whiteboard, this is a collaborative space, and you and other folks in the team on the call can work on this together. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw something really important. There's my really important picture, and then other people in this meeting can also participate as needed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting. Just open up there. The other feature was called Freehand by Envision. This is a little bit more like a smart board. It actually has a few extra features. You do need to create an account. The account may be a price or it may be part of your licensing. And then you can access a pre-existing item or you can start a brand new one fresh. I think what I will do is I'll just use existing one just so we have it. And it's a little bit more like a smart board because you can upload files and you can draw on the image if you needed to add some notes and different reactions as well. And the other thing that's interesting is you can set this up so that everybody can edit and participate, or that it's a view only, right? You're giving more of a lecture style. So those are some elements in here as well. We'll go ahead and stop presenting. Now you can also use the chat feature. This is another way to participate in the conversation. So I'm just going to put a quick chat in there. Hello, everyone. And we often use this chat in real life as a way to connect with the group. Sometimes we don't want to interrupt the person who's speaking, so we can use this chat on the side. Maybe we have some links. Hey, can you post that link into the chat? Absolutely. Or you might have some files, maybe an agenda that you want to drag in or some notes that you want to drop in. So you can add those files to the conversation. Another way that you might want to engage is just using the raise hand. So instead of unmuting yourself and saying, hey, let me talk right now, you could use the raise hand feature. And that's another way to manage a large group. Also, if you're using that hard mute feature, this is how the presenter could see that you have a question and could say, all right, Sarah, hey, go ahead. Why don't you address the group? So those are some ways to stay connected too. All right, let's take a closer look at some of the other features. I'm going to start with the recording option. So the recording is part of your Microsoft 365 plan. You do have to be inside of the network. So a guest like Irvin cannot start or stop recording. You do have to be inside the network to do that. When a file is recorded, you're going to notice that everybody is getting a privacy announcement. They're being notified that they're being recorded. And then the file itself is going to get stored in the cloud. It could be Microsoft Stream, or more likely it's going to be SharePoint or OneDrive for Business. And then in the meeting itself, we'll see in a moment that there'll be a playback option right inside the meeting conversation so that you'll be able to access it even after the meeting is over, which is really handy. Because it's in the cloud, if you are the meeting organizer or the person who created the recording, you could even download that MP4 file if you needed to share it with a wider audience. I'm going to actually go here and stop recording. What a very, very short recording that we just did. So they'll give a chance to bake. But the recording is going to pick up any audio or video that's being shared. And it's also going to pick up if you're sharing a screen or PowerPoint presentation. Now, another element of this would be the meeting notes. So let's check this out. So the meeting notes, this is a feature that's integrated into the Microsoft meeting. And so you can actually just click take notes. And now you have a meeting notes feature that people can all participate in. They can all work on together. So I could say something like agenda items. And I would like Alex to take lead on this. So Alex will, whoops, let me make sure I get him. There we go. At mention Alex will lead. I can't type. Okay, there we go. Alex will lead. And then of course you can add in more items as needed, more sections as needed. Now, this is really handy. It's lightweight, it's collaborative. You can continue the note taking if you've got a recurring meeting, but you might prefer a different format. I'm kind of a OneNote fan. I love OneNote. And we actually have some OneNote files that we store in our teams and channels, and we use those to take notes for our different meetings. And in Adele's world, let me show you what she could do. She could jump into her Microsoft Teams and access her OneNote. So the idea here is that you can multitask. You don't have to do everything in the meeting if you don't want to. This is a shared OneNote file, so this would be something that everybody could see. Or maybe you're taking notes off screen, off to the side, or your own private notes. Sometimes that's a need too. And when we're talking about this idea of multitasking, when you jump into Teams, you can use one of these icons. You'll notice that you get a smaller panel. This is really handy if you need to do a sidebar conversation while you're in the meeting. So for example, I could jump into chat and I might want to have a sidebar conversation with Alex or with the communications team. And then when I'm ready to jump back into full screen, I can just click on the panel, it expands it back into full screen as well. All right, so one more thing that we need to focus on would be the people, the participants. So there's a option to show the participants panel or the people panel. This is where you can see who's been invited. You can invite other folks on the fly. You can see when people have joined. You can also mute people. So if people come in, you want to mute them. And then we'll see this ellipsis. That means there's more options. You can access the meeting options. We talked about the lobby and who are the presenters. This is where the organizer can go back and make some changes. You can manage, oh, excuse me, this is the hard mute. That's what that is. Here's the manage permissions, one down. And then the other option is that you can access an attendance list, see who's been attending this session as well. All right, let's go ahead and finish the call. We can simply click hang up. It's this red button here. There is one other feature though, end meeting. What's the difference? So if you're the meeting organizer, the end meeting allows you to end the meeting or the call for everybody. So it's going to kick everybody out. It's going to close the recording. It's more of a final. All right, doors are shutting. If you simply hang up, that leaves the meeting space open if people want to linger a little bit and hang out or even continue the recording. So you could jump. That's also handy if maybe you got it started and then after 5 minutes you left. That'd be another way to do this. All right, I'm just going to go and hang up. And what we are seeing now is the conversation. So the meeting has a conversation. It's this persistent history. And we have the conversation we started. It looks like we have some notes that we started. Here's the recording. Not a very exciting recording for our demo, but in real life, you could have your recording that you could click on and watch the playback. And then you would also have this ellipsis here for more options, which will be handy if, let's say, you are the meeting organizer or the recording owner and you want to access this in the cloud. Then you also will have some tabs across the top. So if we shared any files or if we started the meeting notes, maybe we have the whiteboard that we were using or the Freehand by Envision. So we have those tabs that are set up that we can access and continue. Or let's say that you're using OneNote. You might want to add a OneNote tab or something else, some other app that you're using right inside of your Microsoft Teams meeting. In fact, there's a lot of great apps that you can use. And one of them is kind of nice to shout out is the Poly app. This is where you can do real-time forms or real-time poll questions right inside your meeting if you want to post that in here as well. Now, if this is a meeting that you want to have access to later, something you might consider doing is pinning this meeting so that it's easy for you to jump into, right? Or if it's a meeting that you don't need, you simply unpin it. But what I did in real life is I've had this group chat, this community outreach group, and we work on different files and topics and such. And we needed to create a meeting. We wanted to have a weekly meeting. There's your calendar feature. Guess what? It's the exact same process that we just walked through. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is a shortcut. It automatically invites the people that are part of your chat. So a one-on-one chat or a group chat, it automatically invites them to that meeting experience. And you can see here's my meeting experience that complements the group chat. The other thing, of course, is that you can set up a call. So at any time, you can simply call your chat. It's not going to schedule it. It's just going to just call them right up. And you could then, of course, have recordings built in this way. The only thing a call doesn't support would be the built-in meetings notes feature. So the meeting notes features are just for these meetings. You can see that purple icon. But in that case, maybe you're using OneNote. And again, you can set up your app and you could plug in a OneNote file or maybe you're using Word to take notes. So you can bring those in as well. So you have some options of how you're connecting. And then, of course, the meeting has its history. This is really handy. This is a recurring meeting. So that would give you the ability to just pick up right where you left off. And you can see the history of that meeting as time moves forward. Now let's take a closer look at teams and channels. Teams and channels is a great way to manage an ongoing project, an initiative. Maybe you're in a daily operations like a sales cycle, and there's probably going to be meetings that are part of that project or that process or that group. So you can set up your meetings to be integrated right into your channel conversation. And you can set up a meeting that is scheduled or that's meet now. So let's start with the scheduled meeting. It is the exact same thing we just did. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is that it's now associated with a channel, in this case, our product rollout team and the scope and design channel inside of it. And so here's an example of a meeting that got set up. You could also create a meet now, and that's kind of like a call, but it's actually a meeting. It has meeting notes and recordings. And this would be not scheduled, just like, hey, anybody's available, can you jump in? Can you just connect right now? You can also take a conversation. So here's an example of materials testing. Hey, I think we need to go a little bit deeper. So you could actually schedule a meeting on materials testing or meet now, right now on the materials testing. And then, of course, if anyone wanted to join live, they could join live. They're part of this meeting, or they could go back and expand the history and see anything that you've captured. So here's some recordings. We've got some meeting notes that we took, or again, maybe you're using some other app like OneNote or Planner or Trello, what have you. So you could add those as tabs to your access. Now, Alex, he scheduled this meeting. And when he scheduled it, he did not invite everybody in the team. You don't have to, because everybody already has access to it. So instead, what he did is he sent out an app mention. He said, hey, everybody, can you please add this meeting to your series in the calendar? So Adele would see this activity alert. She'll get an activity alert. She just clicks on this purple bar and she can add it to her calendar. So that's how she can get updates, get it on her calendar. If she doesn't add it to her calendar, she can still join. She can join at any time, or she can later on, if she's not able to join real time, she can go back and see the history as well. So those are some options. But if Alex wanted to @mention, you can @mention a channel. So you might want to promote a channel, or you can @mention the entire team. Here's our product rollout team. Or you can even @mention a group of people using tags. So for example, the budget group or the communications group, or in this case, the project lead. So these are some ways that you can send out an alert, and it's going to alert people so they'll be aware of it and they can add this information to their calendar. All right, let's recap. We'll go back to our calendar here. So you're going to see all the items that you've scheduled, and actually you'll see items that aren't Teams meetings as well. You also have an option called Meet Now. This is the chat equivalent of Meet Now. This would be great for setting up a space that's not scheduled. For example, flipped learning. Maybe you want to create a learning space that's not on the schedule. People can just show up and get the information as needed. Maybe you want to create a space where people can meet, come together, and again, it's more informal. And the other option here is called live events, and this would be handy if you're doing a webinar, a broadcast, maybe an all hands, where it's really a presenter who's speaking out to an audience. So the collaboration is not meant to be as engaging. The collaboration, it's more meant to be a presentation with questions and answers and moderation. And you can have a small group, but you could also have a large group with 10,000, in some cases, even 20,000 people in that event at one time. Now, as we're wrapping up, I just want to jump in to help and point out that you got topics and training and what's new. And when you go into topics, you might even find some tiles that are going to be relevant, like live events, plan a meeting, join in. So there's lots of ways to help you remember what you've learned, but you can also use the search feature. So for example, let's say if we typed in whiteboard, let's see what pops up. So here's some information about whiteboarding, and it helps us stay connected. The best way to learn Teams is to use Teams. I'd love to have you jump in there, start using Teams as a way to schedule a meeting, make a quick call, start using some of those tools that we explored, and can see where that takes you. Thank you for viewing, and have a wonderful day.